Sentosa Airport with Megan, who's going home just for the winter, right?
Yeah,
coming back, right?
Just for 3 weeks.
Nice. So where's home?
Minnesota, in the U.S. So my dad lives in the cities, and my mom lives near St. Cloud.
Okay, nice. I don't know where it is, but I'll take your word for it.
Central.
Okay. So yeah, she gets to go home for Christmas, which is nice.
First time in 3 years.
Yeah, thank you, COVID.
Yeah.
But you get to go home in the summer too, right?
Yes, probably August.
Okay. So is this a home for good or home for visit?
I hope it's not home for good. I'd like to come back to Japan, but my current job contract is ending, so
Okay.
I'll have to probably go home for a bit, save up some money, and then come back, because the exchange rate is pretty terrible right now.
Brutal right now.
Yeah.
So your current job, it's not a teacher, is it? It's something different.
No, yeah, I work at City Hall. I am a coordinator for international relations for the JET program, so CIR is the acronym. And so while I do some teaching, so I visit a bunch of daycares and I do adult English conversation classes. My main job is to help plan the Sister City exchange program with our sister city in Hokkaido, Idaho, and also plan events to interact with people in the city and give them opportunities to exchange with international people.
To be honest, she's the one I always go to when I have troubles. So.
I do my best. But yeah, so I also help people in City Hall. Mm-hmm. So if foreigners, or I guess not foreigners, blanket term, English speakers come into City Hall, then I am there to interpret as well.
Okay.
I also do some translation projects, like translating the garbage guidebook for residents here, or other forms for the City Hall to make processes for foreign residents easier.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So a mixed bag.
How do you feel about going home in the summer?
It's an odd time of year to leave in Japan, because everybody else leaves in April. And so it's kind of odd going home in August when everybody's just like starting to get into the swing of things.
Yeah.
It's also going to be the busiest time of year for this position, because that's when our exchange program happens.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I leave. So we will be able to accept the delegation from the US, but I will leave before the Japanese cohort goes to the US. So it's like I'm leaving things half finished. It's a little sad.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's also really hot, so it's kind of a pain to move.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Japan?
I am going to round out 5 years.
Okay.
It's only half the time that you've put in.
Yeah, ours was weird. It was time to go, and we're like, no, we're not going yet.
Yeah.
Just another year.
Yeah.
Just another year. So,
That's amazing that you were able to do that, though.
as two foreigners, I'm impressed. Usually those who can do it are married to a Japanese spouse.
Right. So that's why I was so shocked because when I first moved here last year, I was told, oh yeah, there's the Brown family here. They're a foreign family who decided to like lay down roots in Iwamizawa. I'm like, what? You can do that? I was really shocked.
Yeah, it was just a lucky series or sequence of events that made it possible. Like I had finished my job with JET program, and so I was unemployed, but my husband was still working on the JET program. And during that time, a private hire job came up in the next town over. And so I was able to start in April, which most JET people cannot because they finish in the summer, right?
Oh, right.
And so then when he finished his JET program, then he became my dependent. And so that's how it worked, you know. It just one of us was always working, and at some points both of us were working, so we never actually lost our visas.
Oh, well, that's really nice.
Yeah, and I mean at the time, you know, back home looked like there was no jobs and things were difficult, and now it's the other way around. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, right now I don't think there's many jobs anywhere.
Yeah.
But so when along that timeline did you give birth to your first child, Emmett? So were you still on the JET program, or was it after?
I was still on the JET program when I was pregnant with him.
Okay.
And then I decided because I was pregnant with him, I would finish my contract and stay home with him. And my husband was in his 3rd year of JET, I think, or 4th year of JET. And so that's how that happened. And our idea was we would go home after my husband was done his 5-year contract. And but then just in his 4th year, I think, so Emmett was almost 2. A job came up and I applied for it, and we just said, yeah, let's do it, So
that's really nice.
We liked where we were living, so we just stayed in Iwamizawa for that time.
I really liked your old house.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were like, hey, can we still live in Iwamizawa, once Shelby's done his contract, because then we lose the teachers' housings that we had.
Right.
And somebody said, like, hey, there's some really cheap houses in the outskirts of the city. I said, okay, we like the countryside. And by cheap, they meant free. But of course, they're really old houses.
Yeah.
And so they needed to be fixed up and whatnot. And so we took it. It was a big risk.
Yeah.
We took it with the promise that we would not abandon it. And if we were going to abandon it, to at least demolish the house, so that it wasn't like a eyesore in the community.
Right.
So yeah, it's but demolishing the house is about 20,000 American.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of pricey to demolish the house, and if anybody suspects that it's haunted, well, no one's going to demolish the house.
Oh, really?
So I'm sure you've seen a few houses around Iwamizawa that they're not only an eyesore, but they're also a danger.
Yeah, they're quite run down, and like you can't even go near them because there's like boards sticking out everywhere.
So some of those, well, not some. I know of one specifically that is considered extremely haunted.
Oh, really?
And so, all the houses around it are very well kept, and people live in them, but nobody will touch this one house. And they won't demolish it because they suspect it's haunted, and if you demolish it, I guess you take the spirits with you. And no building company wants to do that. So
yeah, they don't want to be haunted for the rest of their careers.
Yeah. Lucky for us, our house was not haunted, as far as I know. And we did find a retiring couple that wanted the house. And they moved from the States to Japan to take it. Yeah. So that was really lucky for us.
Yeah, that is extremely lucky. Then you were just able to give them the house for free in return, right?
Yeah, just transfer the cost of transferring was all it. Yeah, that's all it cost us, plus land taxes, which is about $100 American a year.
Oh, that's so cheap.
So we're gonna miss that house.
Yeah,
we're gonna miss that house, but we're glad it's in somebody's hands, and they're happy with the community, and
definitely.
I'm pretty sure we're never gonna get a free house in the States or Mexico or Canada. So
yeah, I'd be very shocked if you did. Who did you have to talk to even find the free house? Just through connections, like through the grapevine?
It was pretty much just through the grapevine. Like I just told people that we were looking for a new place to live, and we were considering we might buy something because it's so cheap to buy houses here in Japan, especially in the smaller cities.
Right.
And so I said, yeah, if you guys hear of anything, let me know. And we were looking at a house, in the city, close to our old place. That was like maybe 10,000 US. Run down, needed some work. I'm like, yeah, 10,000, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's really good for a house.
Yeah, and it was close to our neighborhood. We were really happy in that neighborhood. And then somebody said, hey, you know what? There's a few houses in the countryside. The friend that told me about it, he was currently working for Iwamizawa to help kind of rejuvenate the countryside and bring people to that community. There's a few houses available, either for cheap or for free in some cases. Why don't you come take a look? And so there was quite a bit out there. There was some possibilities because the school was being closed down in that area. And so all that teacher housing, which belonged to the city, they were looking to let it go.
Oh, okay.
But I found something slightly closer, actually right next to my friend who was introduced me to the area.
Oh.
The gentleman who owned it, his mother was getting on in age and was living alone. And this guy, he lived about a 4-hour drive away, and so he wanted to take his mom to live closer, but he didn't want the pain of having to deal with the house way out here. And so the timing lined up real good, and he's like, "Yep, take it all." He's like, "Do you want any of this furniture? You can have it."
That's just so lucky.
Yeah, it was really lucky timing.
Yeah.
And so we took the house. There was some paperwork problems because apparently it was in his father's name, and his father had already passed.
Oh,
and
that's complicated.
So there was some complicated lawyer work there that he did all of it. I think it was about maybe $2,000 US worth of lawyer's fees, and he took care of all of that.
Wow, very generous.
So we were, like I said, super lucky. We were able to renovate a little bit, even though I have no idea how to do any of that. But we got some friends in the community that helped us renovate, the floors and a few other things, which was great. So it was a great learning experience.
Oh, I'm sure. If you like fixer-upper houses.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll miss that house. But like I said, it's in good hands, and it makes it easier to move back to North America.
Yeah.
Not having that
100%.
So how about you? I just finished putting out my 5-month bucket list, which is now about 3 months. But
oh man, yeah.
Of things that I want to make sure I get done. How about you? What do you want to do in Japan before you leave?
The number one thing is to go down south.
Okay.
I've never been further south than Kansai area, so Kyoto and Osaka.
Okay.
And so I really like to make it to Okinawa, but it's cheaper to go to South Korea than it is to go to Okinawa from Hokkaido.
Okay.
So it's quite an expensive trip. So I don't think I'm going to quite make that, unfortunately. But my siblings are coming in March, I believe, and so we're gonna go down to like Shikoku, one of the smaller islands down south. So I'm very excited for that. So that's the top of the bucket list.
Okay.
Other things, I really want to continue camping this year, get as much camping in as possible, because I really love camping, and camping in Hokkaido just is completely different, in my opinion, from camping in the US.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't have any friends really here that are like available usually to go camping. They don't like camping.
You know what? That would have been us. We wanted to go camping so bad in the summertime, and it just things got busy.
That was the problem too for me last year. I only got to go maybe twice. But I always go solo camping, and when I tell my friends and family from back home that I go solo camping, they're like, "That's so dangerous. You can't do that. That's like horrible. Don't do that. Bring a friend." And I'm like, no. Like, the scariest thing out there is maybe bears.
Yeah.
But the campsites here, they're usually pretty well kept, and
there's a lot of people there, depending on the campsite.
Depending on the campsite, but I found the best ones are like, it's you and a bunch of like old men. So when I used to live out in eastern Hokkaido, there was this campsite I really loved, and it was on a cliff looking over the sea, and it was free. And there was no like check-in counter or building or anything like that. You just showed up, tried to get a spot, and there was people who would stay there the entire season of warm months, so half a year. From the moment they opened to when they closed, they would just live at that campsite, and it was a bunch of old men, and so I kind of viewed them as my grandpas, because the first time I went, they very kindly taught me the ropes of how the campsite worked, and they fed me oysters.
Oh wow!
Freshly caught oysters that they got in a bucket. I think it was 1,000 yen for a huge bucket of oysters from the town nearby. Yeah. Not that I hate oysters, but I didn't want to be rude, so I ate the oysters. And then when I went back the following year, they remembered me. Yeah. And so it was really nice.
That's awesome.
And I've never felt like I was in danger camping here. And it's just really nice to go solo camping. So I want to get as many camps in the upcoming warm months as I can before I have to go home. What else do I want to do? Eat a lot of food.
Yes, yes. That's a lot of our bucket list is restaurants and places that we remember.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I was watching your video this morning, and you said you wanted to go to Bombay Sizzlers or Jimmy's, and I'm like, I want to go there too, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it to Tokyo.
We're not entirely sure we're gonna be able to make it.
Yeah.
On my son's bucket list is to take his younger sister to Disneyland in Tokyo.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it's gonna pan out for us. It's just not enough time, and going home with just our savings, with no job lined up, with the possibility of Shelby going to school, going back to school. Yeah, the money's kind of a little scary.
I completely understand.
We don't know if we're gonna be able to pull off going to Tokyo.
Yeah, it's a very expensive trip, especially for a family of four.
But I mean, if we could, definitely we would.
Yeah, I'd also like to go to Disney. I've been to Disney, Florida when I was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Don't remember it. So I would like to try to go to Disney Tokyo because everybody says it's really fun.
It is a lot of fun,
So I'd like to try and make it there. But again, money and time and logistics. And theme parks aren't fun going by yourself.
No, and to be honest, I think what my son remembers the most and what he liked the most were the parades. He got onto 3 rides. We spent the whole day there, but he only got 3 rides.
Yeah.
But what he remembers the most are the parades.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so he really enjoyed those, and just walking around and getting cool treats, and so I would like to do that.
That would be really fun. I hope you guys can make it down.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I think unfortunately, my son and I are the only ones that are really excited about the prospect of going to Disneyland. My daughter has no idea, and
she's still a bit young to enjoy rides too.
And my husband just doesn't do well with crowds, so
I can't blame him.
It's not fun being in a crowded place.
Yeah, especially now that Japan's opened up again. I'm sure it's just going to be completely flooded.
When we finish our work, I thought maybe we could go then, but when we finish is around the time that all the elementary and all the school kids are also on break.
Right.
So it will be busy.
Well, maybe you guys can at least stay a night in Tokyo before your international flight back.
I think we might try that.
Yeah, and at least make it to Jimmy's.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. That'd be nice.
In 200 meters, turn right.
Sorry, I just realized it wasn't on.
That's okay.
You were doing great.
Yeah, it's been 3 years since I've driven to the airport. So
I know this is the right road.
Yeah. I'm hoping, I'm going on muscle memory right now, so let's see. I'm hoping it goes well.
It's after this point where I really don't know where I'm going. So I don't know which turn I'm supposed to turn in.
I remember the first time I came by car, well, I guess when I was picked up for my job 10 years ago from the airport, and driving this whole way, looking around and really enjoying the views. But I remember when we entered Iwamizawa, my supervisor's like, okay, this is Iwamizawa. I'm like, cool, we're there. And there was another 20-30 minutes of driving.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized Iwamizawa, land-wise, is huge.
Yes.
There's a lot of land. And it can take, anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes, I think, to get from the farthest point of Iwamizawa to the next
other
one.
side, yeah.
So yeah, that always still blows my mind. You know,
It's very widespread.
yes. Yeah. Whereas the town that I live in now is probably maybe half the size of Iwamizawa, but has a much bigger population.
Yeah, quite a lot more city-like.
Yeah.
No, I always laugh when people say, like, absolutely insist that Iwamizawa is not a city. Because to me, it is a city. It's the biggest city I've ever lived in. And you have a mall and multiple supermarkets, a bowling alley. That's a city to me. But yeah. You have more than like 2 konbinis.
Yes. Yeah. No, it has everything you need.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
unless you're looking for nightlife. And that it's got a little bit, but it's not young nightlife, let's put it that way. But I mean, we never lacked anything, you know. I mean, during COVID, I think we spent most of our time in Iwamizawa. We barely went to Sapporo. You know, we had no reason to because we had everything here.
Right.
So
it's really nice. It's also nice that it's close to everything. So it's like an hour from Sapporo. It's an hour from all of like the touristy ski places and the flower fields and
it's pretty central. I mean, if anyone applies for JET, I would request Iwamizawa.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sign too that like the turnover rate for foreigners working in Iwamizawa is pretty low.
Yeah, most people stay more than 3 years, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Which my placement before me and the people who were in the city, like that got there and COVID hit.
Yeah.
It was like 2-year turnaround.
Okay.
I think, but here it seems to be a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people stay all 5 years.
Yeah.
Or at least 4 years. So it's a nice place to live.
I'd recommend it. So what are you looking forward to at home?
Mexican food. Like actual tacos. Burritos, which is I guess Tex-Mex. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to those Mexican flavored foods because they do not do them here.
No. You know what? There was one place in Obihiro 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Mexican restaurant run by a Mexican who studied in Vancouver.
Really?
And it was so good. It was pretty authentic. It was a little pricey, but it was pretty authentic. That about 4 years later, Shelby and I was like, man, we really want Mexican food. And we tried a restaurant in Sapporo, and it was not. Nowhere near. Like
I think I know where you're talking about.
It's gone now. They're probably for a reason.
Well, the other place I've been was also bad.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no. But yeah, I was like, yeah, you know, this place was amazing. I'm keen on spending the extra money. There was a van that we wanted to buy from somebody in Obihiro, and we're like, let's do it. You know, let's go look at the van, and let's make a trip out of it. Let's go enjoy, you know, tacos and whatnot. So we took my son, who was like 2 years old.
Wow.
And we drove the 4-hour drive to Obihiro.
It's gotta be at least 4, yeah.
And the main driving point was not the van that we wanted to buy. It was that restaurant.
Yeah.
And so we also did the drive in the middle of summer, and Obihiro's notorious for being hot.
Very hot, yes.
And so it was a hot drive all the way into Obihiro. We looked at the van. Luckily, we decided, we want to buy this van, and so we went ahead with it. And anyways, after that, all excited, we went to where the Mexican restaurant should be. And it was not there. They had closed down. Cool. It had turned into like some sort of, you know, daycare or something. I have no idea what it turned into, but it was not a Mexican restaurant anymore. And that's a disappointment I still feel like 10 years later.
Yeah, no, I would be devastated.
But some Mexican food, I am so looking forward to. Mexican food, Tex-Mex food, like it doesn't matter.
Yes, just those flavors.
Those flavors.
Yeah. My brother lives in New Mexico, so I'm actually flying into Albuquerque first today.
Okay.
And I'm really excited because he's going to take me around Joanne to all like his favorite places for Mexican food. Because I live in Minnesota, so we don't exactly have a large Mexican population, but so I'm really excited to try out almost authentic
taco trucks. Those were the best, and they just don't exist here.
No. But food trucks seem to be making, like, they're getting quite popular.
I've seen a few more, and definitely around festival time. I mean, even Jimmy's had a little food truck, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, because this year, throughout the entire summer, like, I think every week, or at least every other week, they'd have a bunch of food trucks come to Iwamizawa.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would be a different lineup every week. I remember being really shocked.
That's awesome. So Mexican food, what else are you looking forward to?
Well, of course, to see my friends and family. It is nice living in Japan. I love it here. I don't want to leave here, but it has been many years since I've been around my family for longer than a couple weeks. And so I still have 2 little baby brothers who are not babies anymore because it's been 5 years. And when I left for Japan to come here, they were, up to my elbows. And now they're both taller than me.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it's just, and because of COVID, I wasn't able to go home for 3 years, so I missed 3 whole years of their lives, and that's really sad. So I'm really excited to at least move home and, see everybody and actually be a part of their lives again.
In 500 meters, turn left.
Thank you. I think I might go straight.
That's fine.
I think it has similar.
Yeah, it says you can go straight. But what else am I looking forward to? Fabric stores.
Oh yeah, they're so different.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
The fabric game in Japan is not great.
And it's expensive.
It's so expensive. So, say what you will about Joann's fabrics, but they have a large selection and they always have sales. So I end up being able to buy a lot more for less in the US than I am here. They also do not have patterns here.
They're kind of hard to find. I've found a few, but they're very specific. I guess. I found a book of patterns for all the things that my kid needs for school.
Okay.
But other than that, anything especially for Halloween, not gonna happen.
Nothing. No, and their cottons. I was just extremely shocked by how little colors they have in their cottons. Because you go to a Joann's or a Michael's or even in the US, and there's just hundreds of just plain cotton, but they're all slightly different shades. But here it's very hard to find the exact color you may want. But the patterns I found too, a lot of them are just one size.
Yes.
Especially the adult patterns.
Yes.
And so they're one size and they do not fit, and they're boxy. Yeah. They don't have any shape.
They love tunics here.
Yes. They love tunics and baggy pants. But I'm not. So I can't use the patterns here. So every time I go back to the US, I have to take advantage and just
sorry,
buy
I just need to point
bunch.
this out. I wish the camera can see this. Maybe you can fix it. Oh, maybe not enough time. Oh no. Don't worry about it.
Standing on the back of the truck.
Dude.
There we go.
We'll probably edit that out.
Yeah.
Oh, but so there's a little K truck, which is a little.
In 200 meters, continue straight.
I might do that. Okay, thank you. There's a little K truck, and it looks like they're moving a refrigerator, which is in Japan. They're not very big. And the man, they tied it up. They tied it up, and one of the men, an older gentleman, is holding it
Just on the back.
on the bed of the truck. I won't lie. That's the first time I've seen that in Japan.
Me too. I didn't think it was legal.
I don't think it is. But
Rebellion.
Oh, that's too bad we couldn't get that on film, because that was a really interesting situation. So we have that memory to take home.
Yes, perfect.
So,
Yeah, I want one of those little K trucks. I think they're adorable.
They are pretty cute.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, they carry a lot in the back, but yeah, passenger-wise, they're kind of
Like maybe
useless.
2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like Jimmy's and Indian restaurants, this town Naganuma has one, unless it closed
really?
down on this stretch, and I just haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But I've stopped there a few times. It was not bad. But yeah, maybe it's gone. I don't know. Oh no, there it is.
Tandoori restaurant. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there it is. So if you ever, I feel like nothing will ever be as good as Jimmy's. But that's a nice, you know.
Their biryani.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Yeah, I didn't start eating his biryani until about a month before he left. I was like,
Really?
why have I not discovered this sooner?
You should have just not eaten it.
Yeah. Yeah. Garlic rice too.
Oh, the garlic rice.
And we were really lucky. Sometimes his wife would make something, and his wife's an amazing cook. She's not the cook for the restaurant, but you know, she would make a little something, and he would share it with us, and it was always just something else. It was beautiful.
Man. I wish I had come like months earlier. So
Years earlier.
Years earlier, so I could have properly enjoyed it. As it was though, in the 3 weeks that they were open after I got here, I went like 6 times.
Oh, we definitely, yeah, we got a lot of takeout.
Yeah.
I think about a good chunk of our paycheck went to takeout.
Yeah. No, I remember the last day, I think it was like a big crowd of us, and we all like ordered takeout.
Yeah.
To like put in our freezers. Jordan ordered like, I think like 6 different orders to take out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
with bang.
Definitely have to try to get down to Jimmy's.
Yeah. I looks like it's a much more posh restaurant, so you might have to dress up. I don't know.
Yeah. He knows us, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine. Yeah. What are you looking forward to in moving back?
Well, like you said, the Mexican food is way up there on the list. Pizza.
Yes.
Back
Oh
to
gosh.
Chicago
yeah.
style pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza's a whole different ball game here. Like,
It's so expensive.
it's expensive, and it's just not the pizza that we have in America.
No.
It's good pizza, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But when you are, you know, a little homesick and you want, you know, the pizza that you remember,
Yes.
it's not this.
It's not this.
It's not this.
Don't get me wrong, I think I've had the best pizza I've ever had in my life here, but it doesn't hold up to nostalgia.
Yeah. No,
That's
I
the
think
thing.
that's exactly what it is. It's nostalgia. It's the memory of the pizza that we grew up with.
Exactly.
Right? So yeah, and there's been a few things too that I've had on my pizza. I'm like, why is that there?
The potato, corn, mayo.
Yeah, all of
chicken
those.
teriyaki.
Ink squid. Or
Oh yeah, the
squidding.
squidding. Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, it was good. It was just like not what I was expecting for
I
a pizza.
do appreciate that Japan likes to experiment with
Yes,
flavors, because I like to try interesting and new foods.
Yeah.
So pizza is a really good place to do that, because
Yeah,
they
for
just
sure.
put whatever they
Whatever's
want on
there,
a
yeah.
pizza.
Oh, speaking of mayonnaise on a pizza, I'm going to miss Japanese
Oh,
mayonnaise.
the Kewpie mayo.
And
yes.
and my kids too. Like just last night, they were like all over their food. I'm like, can you stop that? Because if you don't want to eat your food, your dad's not going to eat it because there's mayonnaise on it.
You just drowned it in mayo.
Mayonnaise. But then they just scraped off all the mayonnaise and ate it. I was like,
That's crazy.
okay. You know, this bottle only cost me maybe 300 yen here. It's going to cost me like $10 in the States.
You're going to have to have a suitcase just of mayo.
So, but but yeah, Mexican food, pizza, you know, a good hamburger
Yes.
that's not stuffed with what did like not corn bits, but they stuff it with like a flour of some sort to make it thicker here.
Really? I didn't know that.
I mean, it's good. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
not
not
the
bad.
hamburger that I remember.
Yeah, because in Japan they have Hamburg, which is hamburger steak, which is not a hamburger, but they seem to think it is, and then they'll just like add the bread, and it's just
and I'm
not
like, that's
good.
not quite it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. You know, obviously, like you said, meeting family.
Mhm.
I haven't seen my mom in like 4 years.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my in-laws in at least 3, if not more. And they haven't seen the kids. Like,
right.
you know, they were supposed to come when my daughter was born.
Right.
You know, for all they know, me and my daughter might not be real. You know?
Right.
So,
fake daughter for the
so
past
they,
3 years.
they missed a lot of milestones, you know,
They
in both of the
did.
kids, and so that's really important. You know, if COVID had not happened, things might be different now in regards to
Yes.
where we were going to go.
Right.
But yeah, COVID just definitely pulled apart the family pretty abruptly, and it's been hard. So, yeah, seeing family, I'm so looking forward to being somewhere where I understand everything. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I've
It's
been here
true,
10
yeah.
years and I understand quite a bit. You know, I understand some of the culture.
But there's still always going to be things.
There's
that
always
you
surprises.
don't. Yeah.
Yes, there's always surprises.
There's always going to be a kanji you can't
100
read.
meters. Turn
There's
left.
always going to be like a paperwork process that you'll never like actually figure out.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to being more independent.
Yeah.
You know, language-wise, cultural-wise. And
Definitely have to rely on a lot of people
Yeah.
here to do
yes.
tasks that you would rather not have to rely them on. No,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
There's at least 5 people that I'm like, I owe you so much.
Oh, not even. Yeah.
For you, it was your job, but you know,
It's
nice
my
stuff.
job. I get paid for it. You
Yeah.
owe me nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to being able to do all of that myself. I'm looking forward to going into a bookstore and
Oh
being
my
able
gosh.
to find books I want
Yes.
in English or
Yes.
Spanish.
It's
And
like, because
buy
I
it.
can speak and read Japanese, but it's really hard to just go to a bookstore and browse.
Yeah.
Because
Or a library.
or a library. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I go to, like, say, a Barnes and Noble in the United States, I'm just gonna spend hours in there
Yeah.
just browsing through books. But like,
Wait,
here,
do they still exist?
Barnes and Noble?
Yes.
I think so. I think so.
What I loved, I started hearing, like, in Canada, like, of, you know, our bookstores closing down.
Oh,
And I was like,
really?
wait, do we still have Chapters? Do we still have Future Shop in Canada?
I wouldn't be
So-
surprised if a lot of, like,
Yeah.
independent booksellers, like
Yeah.
small businesses, were closing down.
Oh, that's too bad.
Which is a really big shame.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Barnes and Noble is
Still
still
exists.
holding
Okay.
out strong.
I hope so.
But yeah. No, I was just talking to some other friends too, and I was like, oh, I just want to go to a Barnes and Noble.
Mhm.
Like, I just want to go to a Barnes and Noble by myself and just spend the day there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we talked about stuff that we're looking forward to. What are you not looking forward to back home?
Oh boy.
Let's not get ourselves in trouble.
Okay. Okay, I'll do my best. Everything's gonna be so much more expensive. I think that's the biggest thing I'm not looking forward
Yeah.
to. Everything from food prices to eating out to automobile to home.
Oh my gosh, cars! I heard they're crazy expensive back home.
Yeah, and so for example, I got, granted it's an older car, early 2000s, it's small, but it doesn't have like any damage. It runs super smoothly, and I have had no problems in the 3 years that I've owned this car. And I only paid about 3,500 USD for it. If I go back to the US and try to buy a car for $3,500, I'm gonna get the worst lemon ever. It's gonna fall apart under me.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm not excited for that, and it's just gonna be a lot harder to eat out because the prices are often quite a bit more
Let's
expensive.
go back to tipping too.
Oh god, tipping! I forgot about tipping. Yeah, so that like doubles the price essentially from eating somewhere here.
Yeah.
Not to mention there's not going to be any good Japanese food.
Oh yeah. It just keeps going back to the food.
Oh, but the food is such a big part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I will also miss Japanese manners. They're not always good because
Yeah,
sometimes
we've had some run-ins.
yeah, but like for the biggest example I can give is airports. You will not get any more worse reverse culture shock than going from a Japanese airport where everybody treats you just so kindly and they like do anything in their power to make sure that you have a smooth and easy visit. And if you're running late to a flight, they will literally run with you to the gate.
Yeah.
And they're just so kind and so nice. Like, I remember I showed up once, almost like really terrified I was going to miss my flight, so I was like almost in tears, and the lady at the desk was like, don't worry, it's okay, you're going to make it, we'll make sure you get there. And then you go back to the US and everybody is just, the staff at airports are very rude. And it's just completely different, like just culture wise, of course, as well. And maybe it's just like the scale of airports too, but yeah, definitely very different cultural, I guess, based mannerisms.
Yeah, I think I hear you. I mean, being 10 years here, I've gotten used to what the mannerisms are here, right? And I'm not saying that, like, you know, back home it's terrible. I mean, back home I was happy.
500 meters, turn left.
So I mean, I was happy back home, but the thing is, it's so different.
Yes.
This overpass is new.
Yes, this is new.
That was not there before.
Yeah, 3 years ago. I think it was like 2 years ago they built it. Maybe.
Okay, so yeah, because I used to turn there.
Turn left.
Oh, really?
So I'm like,
well, now you're turning left.
this is new. So,
Oh, left. You're supposed to go.
oh well,
You're going to go right.
because out of habit.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll turn you around.
you think so? This is taking me onto the freeway here.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, no, that's okay. You can go this way. It's
Okay.
just a little bit slower, but we have time.
Okay. Yeah, that's the freeway that takes us to the airport.
Yes. Yeah, directly
So
to it.
when I first came here, this was not finished at all. Like it was
Really?
stopped like way over there, and we had to turn where that Seiko Mart was
Okay.
and drive through some backcountry roads, you know, between farms until we can get to a spot that would put us on that road.
Okay.
But yeah, that road did not exist 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't have much memory because I lived out east, but
yes.
oh, that's crazy.
So, oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, like there are actually there are parts I miss about Americans. Like I like the ability to say what I mean.
Yeah.
I like the ability to get to the point. So I do really miss that. But yeah, just they're very different cultures.
I hear you. I remember the first time. This is a really weird culture shock to have. But the first time I went back to Canada after living in Japan for 2 years was the fashion.
Yeah.
So here, short shorts are fine. You know?
Yes.
If you're wearing some, see, I remember this intersection. If you're wearing short shorts with some leggings, you're fine, right? Whereas back home, short shorts are kind of like, you know, not
You're
the
not
most
really
respectable, right?
No. Well, the other thing is they don't wear tights or leggings with them either.
So that's true. And then midriffs in Japan are kept covered. So
no, you cannot uncover the tummy.
like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm fine seeing them. It's just I haven't seen someone else's midriff in a long time. I also have not seen anyone's cleavage in a long time.
That's true. Yeah.
And these are all things that, like, back home I wouldn't bat an eye at. Like, it was fine. It was normal. But when I went back the first time from living in Japan, you know, those were things I was really shocked to see, which is bizarre because, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
It's just like, oh yeah, people do wear clothing like that. Yeah.
So that was a bit of a shock. Whereas here, you know, I'll see short skirts and not bat an eye. But like when I first came here, I see short skirts. I'm like, oh wow.
It's like, wow, that's
short.
That's,
you know,
barely covering. I'm still shocked, honestly, by because you'll go to like Sapporo and there's all these like fashionable ladies walking around, and they'll be wearing like a sweater with the shortest shorts or like the shortest skirt, like their entire legs are exposed, and it's like -5 degrees Celsius outside.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, are you okay? Like, I support you, you look amazing, but I am just honestly concerned for your health.
Though you can buy nylons here that are meant for like minus weather.
That's true. That's true.
And so, it's quite possible that's what they're wearing. But I still feel like that's not enough,
Right?
I'm like wrapped in a scarf several times over, I've got like long johns underneath my pants, and I'm like looking at me like, oh, how are you doing that,
Yeah.
So
I guess their legs are built different. I gotta do it for the fashion. But yeah, so I agree. I forgot about that.
It's such a little thing. Like I said, it's not right or wrong. It's just different, and it's
yeah. But no, I remember, especially because like I would wear. They weren't low cut shirts, but they were enough that it would show my cleavage, right? And that was completely acceptable in the United States. And coming from college, of course, there was even less, dress code rules that I had to abide by. But then I came here, and like the clothing that my mom suggested I wear for like the office when I was still an English teacher, she's like, oh, just wear these legging pants and a sweater. And I'm like, I can't wear those. I can't wear just leggings.
Leggings are like underwear. You need to put something on those.
Exactly. But in the U.S., it's completely socially acceptable, even in the workplace, to wear like yoga pants or leggings or something like that, as long as they look somewhat professional. And like I remember, I had to go shopping to find like a bunch of work shirts that would be high neck enough that it completely covered everything. So
and long enough sleeve. That was the other thing that shocked me, is like you don't show your shoulders.
No, because I had a bunch of like tank tops as well for summer, and I'm like, oh, I can't wear these. But so that was a learning curve, and now I feel like it's going to be a learning curve as well going back. Home. Be like, oh, I can wear these again, but no, I can't show that. But it'll be interesting.
For sure. I am looking forward to clothes shopping.
Yes.
And buying things that actually fit.
Yes.
So like I can find clothes here, but they're short on the wrist, they're short on the ankles.
Or like the waist doesn't fall properly.
Yes. My poor son, I don't know if it's because he's got,
In 300 meters, turn left onto the ramp.
Turn left. Okay. I don't know if it's because he has a non-Japanese body, but his pants fall off him all the time. Like it just doesn't stay on his bum. And so and I've
turn left onto the ramp.
So this is also new.
Yes. Yeah, this is part of the freeway.
Long time ago, I would have had to keep driving to get to the freeway.
Well, this has probably expedited the journey quite a bit.
Yeah, buying clothes that fit. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am also very, very excited for that. Oh, makeup that actually matches
your skin tone.
My skin.
Yeah.
I ran out. I forgot my eyebrow pencil when I went on a business trip. Yeah. And so, as a blonde, I do not have eyebrows that are visible to the human eye. And so, I like to fill them in. And so I tried to go to the drugstore and find anything that would work. And the closest I could get was like this orangey color that was definitely not the color I should have been using. But oh man, so I'm very excited for that. That's going to be amazing. But yeah. What else?
I know we already said it, but I'm not looking forward to tipping. As somebody who was a server for many years, I'm still not looking forward to it.
No, I agree. I was a waitress too, and I just, oh man, do not. It just doesn't. After living in Japan and not having it, it's just like, why would I?
And also seeing that like people can still work. And it may not be the greatest salary, but they can.
But they can live off of it. Yeah, it's a reasonable salary.
So there's a few things there's things from back home that I would love to implement here.
Yes.
And there's things from here that I would love to implement back home.
I agree.
And having lived in I think I've lived now in 3 countries, soon to be 4. It's safe to say it's not that I hate the country I'm living in or I hate my home country.
Yeah.
It's just we have things that we can share with each other.
Yes, I agree.
You know, to better our society,
I
right?
agree.
And, you know, implementing those things doesn't necessarily mean that you're changing the culture, you're changing your country. You're not. You're just making it better for the people living there. And
Exactly.
you know, if there's one thing that I wish I could like bring back home, you know, is this mentality that we can learn from each other.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
and it's really sad to see that, you know, both here and back home, and you know, that people who have not lived abroad and experienced, and I don't mean traveling, I mean at least a year, 2
Like
years,
living,
you know,
living in a foreign country.
you know, and seeing that, oh, this works really nice, you know, like I just wish we can share that and learn that without getting defensive, because we're not.
It's not me judging the culture of my home country or the culture of Japan. It is me saying, oh, this is like a really good thing. You should try it out.
Well, yeah.
Maybe you would also really like it. But yeah, no, that's really hard. And kind of on that note as well, I'm going to miss speaking Japanese.
Without somebody telling you speak English? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You know what? It has happened to me here.
Really?
But it was a joke, but it still was like, dude, it's wrong, you know?
Oh gosh. Like somebody told you to speak Japanese?
Speak English, we're in Japan is what they said. But it was a joke.
Oh.
It was a joke.
Oh,
but,
interesting.
I was talking to a friend who is from Cuba. Mm-hmm. So we were talking in Spanish, and I miss speaking my family's language.
Yes, yeah.
And so I'm like, I take this opportunity, and we were talking, and it was a conversation just between her and I.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had nothing to do with anybody around us, right?
Right.
And his coworker's like, speak English, we're in Japan. I was like,
That doesn't even make sense.
and I realized he was joking, but coming from countries where people say that not as a joke.
Yeah.
Holy cow, did
It
that
definitely
hurt,
does
you know?
not.
So
Especially for for speaking Spanish or any language that's not English and being told that. Like,
so, but yeah, I am gonna miss hearing Japanese. I'm gonna miss speaking it. On the plus side, I'm looking forward to being able to speak to my family in person in Spanish and be understood. I've never had anyone say you're in Japan, speak Japanese.
No.
But I mean, I've always tried to speak Japanese when I could. And, you know, I mean, I live here, you know. For me to go around and talk to the cashier in English is just...
Right.
Why would I do that?
Why would you do that? Yeah. No, I've not had it to my face, because that's just not what people do here.
That's true, yeah.
But I did, when I was working at a school, would hear the teachers talking about dreading doing a parent-teacher meeting with a Filipino family. And I actually kind of snapped at them. Because they're like, oh, they won't understand me. I'm not going to understand them. I'm like, how dare you? They've been living in this country for more than 10 years. They can communicate. Yeah. They can talk to you. And if you try to put in the effort, they will as well. So sometimes I would hear stuff like that, and that really hurts. Yeah. I am looking forward to not feeling othered all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not as bad here as it would be for somebody in the US, and I'm aware of that, but there will always 100% be the undertone of I do not fit in, I am different. I have to accept the fact that whenever I leave my house, I will be stared at by every single person I pass by. And nobody's gonna ever think I know how to speak Japanese.
Yes, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and I work in a Japanese office. I work at City Hall.
And they still kind of talk about you.
No, well, they don't talk about me in earshot, but they still think I cannot understand them.
Yeah.
Even though, even my, coworkers at my desk, I will sit there and talk to my supervisor all day in Japanese. Yeah. And they still just assume I won't understand them. And I'm like, wow, that is just really sad for you, really.
Yeah.
So, I am looking looking forward to people thinking I'm competent again. That'll be nice.
Yes.
But
yeah, we've been really lucky, I think, in Hokkaido. I have lived down in the Kansai area in Hyogo Prefecture, and in Hokkaido, they're a lot more open, a lot more flexible to
more laid
foreigners.
back.
And more laid back.
Yeah.
I only lived 2 years in Hyogo Prefecture, but I have experienced more otherness, more racism towards me
Really?
in those 2 years than I've ever had in the 10 years being in Hokkaido.
Oh, that's wow.
And I'm also part of a mother's group, foreign mothers group in Japan, and the things I hear the mothers saying, that have been said to them down south, I'm just like, wow, you never hear that up here. At least
That's horrible.
that's not my experience.
Yeah. At least, hopefully, not to your face.
Yeah.
I hope also not behind your back, but like.
But yeah, I'm just floored how much or how different it is down south compared to Hokkaido. It's like Hokkaido's a different country in that respect. I would recommend to anybody who wanted to live in Japan to live in Hokkaido.
It is really nice.
Yeah. I mean,
not only is the food amazing, the nature is amazing, the people are quite kind.
Yeah,
like more often than not, 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to find somebody who's nice.
Yes.
And it's just generally very helpful, especially in small towns. Because I lived in a teeny tiny fishing town, and every single person I met, I was met with nothing but like welcoming smiles and helpfulness. Yeah. And that was just really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And while I did, of course, have that aspect of like, oh yes, you're the foreigner. Oh, maybe you don't speak that Japanese. I did have that, but it was like not malicious, right? It was just like, it's a small town, and like you're the first foreigner I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, yeah.
So, but yeah.
I don't know what our original question was.
Oh, things we're
Not looking forward to back home.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I could state the obvious, but I won't.
Okay, so to put it safely, I'm not looking forward to the political divide that has happened in our countries in the past few years.
Not at all. I'm not looking forward to lack of health care.
Oh my gosh, you know what I'm doing right now?
What?
I've gone to the dentist twice in the last 2 weeks to try and finish up as much as I can of
smart
dental work.
I need to make a dentist appointment. I want one in January, and then I want one in June.
I went, and because I haven't gone in a long time, just because it's hard to get there with my current job and kids and whatnot. My husband set up an appointment for just, right when I got off work. But he's like, okay, so just general cleaning. I'm like, yeah, and check for cavities, please. And sure enough, there's a couple cavities there. Cleaning needs to be done in like 3 different sessions.
Oh, jeez.
But the amazing thing is, like, my first cleaning, which would have cost me maybe $200 in Canada, cost me under $30, I think.
Yeah. Same.
And then they filled my cavity, and that was under $20. It was maybe about $18.
Yeah.
And not dentist related, but I've been going to a doctor for my back because I had this pain that I couldn't explain, and it was really bad. Went to a specialist, and it turns out it's a herniated disc, which luckily is not so bad. It doesn't require surgery, but they had to do MRI. And before I got to that specialist, I've been to several specialists, and they did MRI, scans, X-rays, you name it. Everything you can possibly think about has been done. And back home,
meters, turn left onto the ramp.
thank you. Back home, like, it would have been a lot more expensive. There's my ramp. Okay. So I paid about 8,000 yen for my MRI.
Wow, that's
Turn
crazy.
left onto the ramp.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what, less than $80 US.
Yeah.
Because of the exchange rate.
Yeah.
And it's not my first
In
MRI.
600
You
meters,
know,
keep right at the fork.
I've had MRIs for not only my back, but also during my pregnancy.
Yeah.
I've had maybe at least 5 MRIs here, and none of them broke the bank. And all of them were given willingly. You know, they're like, yeah, you need this, let's do it. You know, there was no like, well, let's see if your insurance covers it or this, that, or the other. If you need it, you get it.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
And
there's also hardly any wait time.
no,
Like maybe they'll have to like
hour?
say,
Or-
sorry, maybe next week.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've never had it where it's been longer than 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah.
I think the hardest thing to get was my cleaning for my dentist appointment. I had to book like a month in advance.
Okay, yeah.
And that's just because I was living in a small town. There was only one dentist.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I've never had it where I couldn't just walk into a clinic and be like, this hurts, fix
it.
me. Yeah. And they'll be like, okay, here's some medicine.
Yeah.
And also that was only 2,000 yen. I'm like, that is insane to me that I could get medical treatment and medicine on a walk-in for $20.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, even like people praise Canada for being, you know, universal healthcare. I'd say I'd rather pay the $20 here
Yeah.
than do the waits that we do in Canada.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
Canada's
horrible.
not perfect. Okay,
No,
let's, you know, everybody praises it, but it's not perfect. Now, if
Nowhere's
we can find
perfect.
Yeah, nowhere's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, we still have to pay $20 here. But yeah, I wish we could have this back home.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I pay
So much.
insurance. My taxes are crazy, but they're the same as Canada, to be honest.
Yeah.
So-
And like the cost of living here in general is just a lot lower.
Yes,
so it balances out anyway. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to having everything be so much more expensive. Don't fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be really terrible. So I plan to like get all my dentist
Yes.
appointments out of the way, get like 6 months worth of medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son, we took my son to the dentist. He had to get 2 teeth pulled, and I don't know how much it cost, but because my husband didn't say anything, it didn't cost much. And depending on the city in Iwamizawa, it would have been free.
Really?
Kids' healthcare is free until they're 18, I think.
Wow, I didn't know that.
In Nebetsu, I think it's until he's 6, so he's now 7, so he doesn't. Yeah, he's now 7, so he doesn't get it free anymore. But it's still heavily subsidized, you know. So,
Wow, that's so nice.
It's like B parking's full.
Okay, to A parking.
A parking it is.
Yeah. Turn this on. No, the cost of living is just going to be very different.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to that.
I am, like, I did say I was looking forward to being independent again, especially language-wise. I'm not looking forward to being dependent again.
Yes.
We are going to go stay with family until
Yes.
we get on our feet.
Me too.
So a lot of the freedoms that we had, you know, the lifestyle we have set up as parents and as people not living at home, I'm going to miss that.
Yes, I agree.
By a lot.
That was a big one on my list too, but I don't want to offend family in case they watch this for some reason.
No, who knows?
Yeah,
but I mean,
but-
it's okay. I mean, it's the truth. Like, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're thinking the same thing anyway, where it's just like, I don't want to have to be dependent again on that. And it's been so nice and freeing living here, being able to go wherever I want. And kind of related is I'm gonna miss not being able to go places on foot.
Yes.
The
Oh my
lack
gosh,
of public transportation.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that because we will stay with my mother-in-law. There's no buses in her area.
Yeah, you have to have a car to go anywhere.
ボタンを押してください。駐車券をお取りください。場内の案内表示に従って
Okay, so we're finally at the airport. And he's directing me this way, so we will go this way.
Okay.
And,
Right next to the international terminal, so that helps me.
is that where you have to go?
It's not actually. Now that I think about it, I need to go to the domestic terminal. So never mind.
That's okay. So we give a park and we'll say a proper goodbye. very much for talking with me.
No, this is actually really nice.
For what was that, 40 minutes or so?
An hour, I think.
An hour.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you very much and have a safe trip.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll see you when I get back.
Yeah, thank you so much for the
This was a lovely chat.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.